There's an echo in the canyon, a reflection on the sound. When I'm really looking, I can hear you all around.
There's an echo in the canyon, thanks to Captain Mike. He wrote that original song and played it for us for recording. Thank you, Captain Mike. Thanks for being here. And have a good guest, a friend, Carl Frano, sitting in the audience. We got an audience, gents. And I'm so glad to welcome you because guess what? It's our 60th Fairfield University alumni reunion. And I went Sunday, represented all of us. Wonderful time. More later on that. Thank you, gents, for being here. Oh, Victor Bonowitz, a friend from the 60s, way back at Fairfield. And J.P. Bradford, who at one time roomed with Gil Cass, as he told me. Dear, dear friendships, bonded friendships, going back. I stunned the table number 3 next to the president's table with stories of our continuing camaraderie and our continuing email coterie. Can you believe it? After the 50th, we started emailing each other about the dailies and the difficulties of life growing older. And you know, the heart stuff that really counts when you get to know somebody well enough to share deeply. You know the names, Joe Esposito, Joe Breen, several have passed. Jimmy Davidson, come on. Oh, he was at the 50th. Wow, gents. I'm so happy to have you here because there's the 4 of us. Yes. And if Captain Mike comes over here, there'll be a 5th. There's my golden stag. Yeah. I walked out with him under my arm on Sunday from Fairfield University's celebration in Barone Hall. And Janet Canepa, the new position she has, is Associate Vice President of Alumni Affairs. Whoa, Janet, you go. She's running around in a golf cart, bringing us old geezers around, trying to help those who were challenged with mobility to go to where they needed to get their car. And she pulled up and she said, Crowley's doing it again. He's running off with the decorations. I had 2. I had another golden geezer under my arm. But since my daughter's class of '93, I stopped by her house on the way home and left one in the front yard. We are golden geezers. Gents, we're here because we're still standing. What's that song? I'm still standing. Yeah. Well, Victor and JP, I wish we could just do a group hug, you know? But suffice it to re-celebrate Sunday in our 60th. Victor, you've been with me now for years. And JP was on the show, wow, 2 years ago, maybe more. The 3 of us are back. It's a reunion of that too. Come on, give us your best shot. What poem do you like that you brought with you today?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that. What would we do had you not?
Oh, you would have introduced yourself.
Well, somehow, for some reason, there's two of me on the screen now, but.
Oh, that's good.
The, Victor and I are gonna do a little soft shoe, a duet.
Now
We're
you're
gonna read-
talking.
We're gonna read a poem by an Irish woman named Szymborska.
Oh,
And-
she's Irish. Tell me.
Yes, she's a very interesting woman. Victor being the most, the best scholar amongst us. Not that we all try to beat him out, but he's clearly the best. He will tell you all about her. But I'm going to read the first half of the poem, and he will read the second half of the poem.
Oh, I love a
Unfortunately, I
name.
don't have the name of the. Oh, there it is. Well, I'm working on the world. Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Why you got it up there? I can read. Okay, I'll read it.
We can't, man. We are visually impaired as seniors over 80.
I'm sort of visually impaired myself, but I'm also impaired in many other ways.
Oh, okay.
Some of it from birth, I think. Anyway,
Oh,
and that's a theme I'll come back to about generational trauma when we get into this other part. But this is the poem. I'm working on the world, revised, improved edition, featuring fun for fools, blues for brooders, combs for bald pates, tricks for old dogs. Here's one chapter, the speech of animals and plants. Each species comes, of course, with its own dictionary. Even a simple hi there, when traded with a fish, makes both you and the fish feel quite extraordinary. The long suspected meanings of rustlings, chirps and growls, soliloquies of the forests, the epicute of owls, those crafty hedgehogs drafting aphorisms after dark, while we blindly believe they're sleeping in the park.
Time, chapter 2, retains its sacred right to meddle in each earthly affair. Still, time's unbounded power that makes a mountain crumble, moves seas, rotates a star, won't be enough to tear lovers apart. They are too naked, too embraced, too much like timid sparrows. Old age is in my book the price that felons pay, so don't whine that it's steep. You'll stay young if you're good. Suffering, chapter 3, doesn't insult the body. Death, it comes in your sleep exactly as it should. When it comes, you'll be dreaming that you don't need to breathe. That breathless silence is the music of the dark, and it's part of the rhythm to vanish like a spark. Only a death like that. A rose could prick you harder, I suppose. You'd feel more terror at the sound of petals falling to the ground. Only a world like that, to die just that much, and to live just so. And all the rest is Bach's fugue, played for the time being on a saw.
oh,
That poem has a pile of lines that just stop you in your tracks.
Yep.
A fugue by Bach played on a musical saw.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, the hillbillies, the hillbilly, what do they call it? The Beverly Hillbillies playing a Bach fugue.
Yeah. Did that happen on the show?
No,
No, I don't think so.
thank you
No.
guys for your elocution. You guys are really wonderful readers. Oh, your voices are coming through, and your pacing is beautiful, slow and delicate, like the poem.
in fact, does that mean we get extra money?
Yes, yes. I'm going to send a couple of cupcakes from Sunday.
Oh, goody. I can't wait.
Yeah, I know. Hey.
JP, you and I will talk about it at the union meeting.
And what about her delicacy, her tender emotional treatment that is sort of between the lines there. What about her imagery? What moves you from her voice, which you've done well with? I loved it. It's a summary and an intro and perfectly segueing back and forth today for our theme of old age.
Well, isn't it interesting that she chose nature, time as the two, nature and time as the two things to tie together the idea of getting old and dying with dignity, and with a bit of a sense of humor thrown in. I just
Oh yeah.
I think to me that resonates of how much we've lost our sense that we are in fact one with nature. The idea that the earth is not there for us to rape, plunder, use as we wish, and how far we've gotten from that, and how in fact somehow to segue nicely into, maybe not so nicely, but segue anyway into your one theme of tyranny, that in fact that's the most tyrannical thing that we've done to the world, is to bring an idea that we are separate from the planet, that it's there for us to use, it's there for us to rape and pillage, and not to understand that we're just one form of life, and we all depend on each other.
Beautifully said, and that is so nicely segueing. Oh yeah, you got it. You're a concept man. Give us some more
That's what my grandchildren, they wrote a song about me called Concept Man. Don't make a plan, he's a concept man.
Yeah, and you better hug those grandkids, man, because they grow faster than a wink of an eye.
My grandchildren are 19, 17, 13, 37, and 39.
Whoa! Bravo!
Well, you started early.
Well, and I've got two other ones they're the younger ones, they're 31 and 29.
Who knew? I'll pass it on. And Victor, what is
Well, I
it?
have one grandchild that writes songs, but he writes death metal revival stuff, so it probably won't be about me. And if it is, I probably won't recognize it.
How can you write death metal revival? I mean, you don't mean like a God revival, you mean like a revival as in a redo of the music.
Oh,
Yeah, well, no, they write original songs.
No,
They
no,
do-
but you can write them in the style of, I'm a bit of a
Yeah,
song.
in the style, yeah.
gentlemen,
Right.
this is gorgeous because we're continuing the reunion and the chatter of the table right now. We're celebrating it. But Victor, I meant more because I know your grandkids and your son, and wow, I know your family. More on the book, more on the poem first. What did it appeal to you? How? I asked you on the phone if you liked it, and you said you did.
Oh, yes, it's amazing that a poet so popular can say such, at times, to me, inscrutable things, you know? Mm-hmm. Or strangely guilt-inducing, like, you'll stay young if you're good. I look in the mirror and think, okay, I haven't been good, it's obvious.
Ain't it the truth? Oh God,
Yeah.
each one of us. Oh, wrinkles, wrinkles. That was my joke aside with taking all the photos to follow of all the participants. And I said we had to have close-ups because you can airdrop it when they mail it, but don't airbrush the wrinkles out. I want them. And I got a big hoot out of Sam Groom when I said that. But from the poem, let's segue conceptually, thank you, JP, into lesson 10 in our wonderful wonderful, wonderful summary book by a great journalist. We've done 2 shows already. This is our 3rd. On Tyranny, Timothy Snyder. So, believe in truth, number 10. To abandon facts is to abandon freedom. If nothing is true, then no one can criticize power because there is no basis upon which to do so. If nothing is true, then all is spectacle. The biggest wallet pays for the most blinding lights. That's a summary of it. In a sense, that takes us back to the beginning. And as you turn the page, you get the sentence, quote, "You will submit to tyranny when you renounce the difference between what you want to hear and what is actually the case." And there are 4 modes in which truth dies. Did you read those, and what did you think of them?
Victor, do you want to be?
Yeah, I read that. 4 ways in which truth dies. I was struck by, for instance, one of them, page 60 in my edition, open abrasive contradiction. George Orwell in 1984 described this as doublethink, the ability in the service of the party to entertain and accept contradictory statements. And he points out that some Germans, even at the end of the Second World War, continue to believe in the Fuhrer. You must abandon all reason and just maintain your faith in the Fuhrer and all will be well. What happened after that, though, what I read was Nazism and devotion to Hitler, once the war was unquestionably lost and the country started rebuilding, was all these ideologies just disappeared. And West Germany at least became a very liberal state and culture. Very liberal. Still is. Now that the country is reunited. So it seemed that the dogmatic faith disappeared when there was no regime that could enforce the lies or could gain from it. So yes, they can openly embrace and entertain contradictions, but it doesn't always last. As for the United States, I guess the election is going to say a lot. So that was my thought on that. Also a mode of shamanistic incantation, endless repetition. Again, he's recalling George Orwell. Multiple repetitions of a lie make it function like the truth. Everyone believes it because it's been repeated so often. So that's another way of making truth die. I suppose an equivalent of that, if I dare say it, is the repetition of a creed at every service.
Oh my God, Victor, my heart is going to beat very quickly when you say this.
Okay, well, just take deep breaths.
Let me say you are on the money, man, because we're dealing with a cult. We're dealing with shamanistic incantation. We're dealing with the other mode, magical thinking. We're dealing with what? They still had a religious love for Hitler after all of that? What?
Some did, and a very few in Germany still do.
Yeah.
But by and large, it is a very liberal state. Some of it hangs on, but it's not inevitable. They shed it. They shed it. I think the Germans have shed fascism better than the Americans have.
Americans are adopting it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Can I
JP,
offer?
JP, you are
Yes,
in.
give us, yes, oh, he's the foreigner, yes, give us your foreigner's perspective.
I ain't no foreigner boy. I grew up in New York, but
Yeah. But you,
You speak English very well, by the way.
Thank you very much. Although I do spell things oddly. I spell favorite with a U.
you're a Canadian. Thank you. Tell us, we are dipping not only our toes, we're jumping naked in the ocean of fascism.
Yes, we are.
Headlong.
Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
my God, it's a, effing religion. My son and, oh God, my grandson's mother-in-law prays to a full-size image of Trump every morning. What is going on?
full size, with or without the girdle.
She pops her corset every morning as she bends over. Oh my God, what's happened to us? JP, can we?
You're all crazy. I don't want to go there, but you're all crazy.
You gotta go there now. We only have a month left. Go, man, go there now.
Okay, I would like to. It's baked into your culture. It's baked into Canadian culture as well, but not. We're much more polite about it, and we're not as we're not as violent about it. We don't carry guns here,
Right?
that
Right.
kind of thing. Although people do have guns and go hunting, but they actually go hunting with them. They don't do the other stuff.
They're
But I
hunting
want-
this. They're
we-
not hunting. They're not hunting the 2 legs. They're hunting the 4 legs. The
That's right. And
Canadians.
yeah. But to me, this tyranny business, in Canada, we had a day on Monday. It was a national holiday called Truth and Reconciliation Day. And it's a day to commemorate the beginnings of restorative justice and restorative and ameliorative action to right the wrongs and created and perpetrated on Indigenous people, mostly by religion, but also by government.
Yep.
And also to help Indigenous independence along. Now, I'm going to read a poem about this, but everything that I tell you over the course of this program, because my theme of tyranny is Indigenous, partly because my son is what they call Métis here, which is a half-breed, half French, half Indian, or in his case, a little bit less than half, but enough to qualify. I have 3 nephews who are status Indian, which means they have their mother is full-blooded Native person and qualifies as under the Indian Act as a in her case member of the Cree Nation. I worked for years with Native people, and so I'm just kind of steeped in it. We have a territory here called Nunavut, which was created for and by the Inuit to allow them to have their own province, but fit into the Canadian legal thing, so that the official languages of Nunavut, which is all the territory above the tree line, also the Arctic, where when the Inuit lived, they used to be called the Eskimos. And there are 3 official languages there: French, English, which are the 2 across Canada, and Inuktitut, which is their language.
Thank you. And you know what? This is a good moment to take our 3-minute break. And we will come back to, I'm so glad you have produced a short slideshow. We'll come back to that toward the end of the program. And you have set it up now just so beautifully.
Oh, wait, just wait, Frank. There's more setup coming.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, but not too much. But we have to take a 3-minute break. It's good for the service announcements. We're ready to go. We will come back. We will, and you will too. Thank you. Be right back.
One of the most common cons this time of year is the utility scam. A bad actor may call or text you claiming to be with the utility company and threaten to turn off your electricity, saying you haven't paid your bill. They may also try to steal your money and sensitive personal information through a fake home energy assessment. This ruse often includes a phony credit check, which requires you to hand over your banking information and even your social security number. They may claim they can save you money on your energy bills if you buy their discounted equipment, but all you'll get is a big credit card bill. Always check with your utility company before letting someone into your home. Even if they're wearing credentials, they may be fake. Also, utility companies won't call or text you out of the blue threatening to turn off the lights. And while they do energy assessments, you have to set them up ahead of time. They don't just send people knocking on doors. For more information on how to protect yourself, visit Better Business Bureau at bbb.org. And to report a scam, visit bbb.org/scam tracker.
Oh, you won't believe the music we had? Oh, you just heard it. Of course you believed it. Did you dance with it? It's dance that'll save us, said Eric Erickson's wife. Life isn't worth a nickel if you can't dance. Hats off to that. Gentlemen, I want to just interject here an introduction for Captain Mike, who composed our original show song. And the echo in the valley keeps echoing in the most interesting ways. Conceptually, JP, we got echoes of our past too here. Oh, JP, we keep hearing these echoes. Something about, Rachel Maddow and the end of the 30s and our rightist move and so on. So fascism is again lifting its ugly head. It has before in this country. And people aren't reading, they're not thinking, they're not being educated critically, they're not following the news by reading print journalism. And then we get with truth dies in 4 modes. Screw the verifiable reality. Let's go with religion and shamanistic incantation. Let's repeat the lies over and over and over and over, like this drill outside, which has just come in. We're drilling. What are we drilling for? We'll let you know. We're drilling for truth. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing in this book. Thank you, Captain Mike. So, adding the open embrace of contradiction logically, what do you think so far of the show? Are we hitting the vein of gold? Are we doing the mother lode on truth here? Are we getting to the core of what ails America. I love the contrast with contemporary Canada because, you know, we're neighbors who live next door. Yeah, I thought of a metaphor. Maybe this will help. The American body politic is really like a 250-year-old tottering old man, like me. I'm not 250 years old. Some days I feel like it. Okay, so what happens to this body politic, this 250-year-old extended metaphor as a person, as a body, when organ failure, the institutional failure, is imminent? What are we seeing? Will the institutions save us from this idiocy? Will they save us, or are, as he maintains, one institution after another is falling in front of the onslaught of Trump from, and this book was published in 2017. Come on, we're doing it again? Do you think these institutions, they failed us so far to stop this? What's going to happen when organ failure takes over in this body politic? You like my metaphor, gents?
Well, if you consider the U.S. Constitution as sort of the anatomy of the whole thing,
Yeah!
there were some, after all, my favorite thing about the Constitution is that it can be amended, and for the most part, for the good, it's been amended 27 times. To those who tell me it's inspired by God. The amendments too, okay.
Okay.
But we still have a lot of injustices built in. It used to be the Supreme Court was like a check against the executive and the legislative. Now it's just empowered the legislative over the eloquent dissent of a minority, because he packed it basically. So there's that disadvantage.
Organ failure.
Yeah.
Bing, bing, bing goes the red light on the body. Organ failure.
Yes, I can finish. And another effective organ, of course, is the Senate, where South Dakota, with about 500,000 people, has 2 senators, and so does California with 40 million people. That's a built-in inequity.
And
Very
also,
nice for the agrarian interest, and also nice for the billionaire interest. It's
Oh,
much
yeah.
cheaper to buy senators when there are only 2 per state.
Right.
So, yeah,
So can I,
the United States has failed to evolve the way Britain did toward a parliamentary form of government,
aha.
and that's unfortunate too.
And
Can I-
Mike, what are we
can I-
missing?
can I stick my 2 cents in?
Stick it in
In spite of the
now.
fact that you're a foreigner, I'll allow it.
Yeah, yeah. But if it's a Canadian point of view, we'll take it.
Well, it's more like a universal point of view.
Okay.
Underneath all, I mean, the organ system and all that's an interesting metaphor, but to me, the underlying issue is really about attitudes. It's about the way people expect to see the world. I mean, 9/10 of the world you see is the world you want to see. And that really implies either living from a sense, and with a sense of fear. Fear is greed. Fear is anxiety. Fear is all the awful things that people talk about. Any difference that's threatening is fear. It has its origins in biology. You know, back when we were scavengers trying to evolve, we had to know when to run away, when to fight, and when to hide. So it's
Yep.
called the fight, flight, or fright response.
Yep.
And it's evoked, it fears what its underlying premise is, because it gets you away from stuff and allows you to survive. But as we evolved as humans, in theory, we started to evolve compassion, kindness, gentleness, sense that the Africans called Ubuntu. You know, that famous study where they took a bag of candy or bag of stuff that was really something kids liked and put it to a tree and told 25 kids, whoever gets there first gets it.
Yep. Yep.
And certain African peoples, all the kids went together, shared it.
Yeah.
Everybody else, they went and they, took it. It was mine, mine, mine. Gave it to their friends. Said ha 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 to all the kids that didn't get it and stuff. And
Well,
worse.
that's really.
And wait a minute, let me finish. Let me finish. And so that notion that community is important, that notion that so is something that we've lost. So the people who are living in the United States now and Canada and other places, because the world is a hate-filled, war-torn place and getting worse. People are, if they're coming from the fight or flight response from fear, then they have all these negative reactions, the self-aggrandizing reactions, the afraid of you, afraid of everybody reactions, let's beat everybody up. If you come from inclusion and you want to actually come from, what dare I say, the word love, but love in its bigger sense, not in its sexual sense or its romantic sense, or even in the sense of agape, but in inclusion. If you see the world from that point of view, then you have a different way of trying to deal with things, different way of trying to heal, different way of trying to understand and operate in the world. And so I don't think that systemic solutions will make the day, because the system is run by people, and the people's attitudes are going to save the day, or not save the day, but become the modus operandi. If you're afraid, the systems will run out of fear. If you're not, they won't.
Well, that's a $200, not a 2 cents contribution. That's really beautiful in terms of grounding the whole world situation we're in now. But what are we missing here that in the United States is sending us back to the cave? Mike, what have you felt recently about 2025?
Oh boy, for me, I truly believe that love will conquer evil.
Okay.
But I've starting to lose the hope of that being 100% true.
You're starting to lose that underpinning, that
Right.
foundation in your life.
I've just seen too much hatred in society lately.
Here.
I mean, yeah, here, mainly here. I mean, my wife and I travel overseas a lot. And, it's funny when we sit down with someone from another country, they find out that we're American. They say, first thing they say is, what is going on over there?
What is going on?
What's wrong with the people?
Uh-huh. What's wrong with the people?
I really can't answer the question. The tribalism has become
Okay.
popular.
Yeah.
If you're not like me, we want you to get out.
Yeah. Anybody brown? Out.
I mean,
We're
it's a number
gonna-
of things. If you're gay, if you're bi, if you aren't white Anglo-Saxon white, like in Adolf Hitler's time,
Yeah.
we're going to take you out. That's the
Okay.
way it seems to me. I mean,
Another
I hope I'm
parallel.
wrong.
Wow. Bingo. Another parallel. You and I have talked about the parallels between 1933,
Oh, yeah.
the burning of the Reichstag, okay, and then the opportunity he twisted from a election into a tyranny.
And he talked about fear, and that's one thing. That's one way to get what you want, is go to people on their fear. They're afraid of losing whatever they think they have right now. Tell them they're going to lose it, even though there's no threat of that. It's just an imaginary thing. They're preying upon the fear of the people,
And here we go again.
which is what Adolf did
Third-
back in the day.
Hey,
If you follow, I mean, I'm not a historian, but I've seen what happened back then, and I see a parallel to what's going on right now.
So,
Very similar.
so we're on the verge, on the edge. The organs have failed in the body politic, and we're facing the abyss. We're actually, in a sense, being schooled by the 1933 and following into imitating an offshoot by Russia. That's the one to, and he is, as I showed you in the New York Times article today, he is reaching out with his henchmen.
This is Putin now.
Putin
Yeah.
in every country of the world, and they're wiping out individuals who have either escaped from the draft, conscription, who have, I mean, think of that arm of the law and the exacerbation of fear in their hearts. He's after the individual who's retreated and escaped. I don't know. I think it's so imminent, in a sense, that I'm looking for solutions. You don't get solutions in this book.
No,
No. Okay.
only gets you to think.
So let's go outside the border for a minute. We need some help. Canada, send in the troops. We need you. We need you to be not only there so we can escape to you when things really go south here, and they will if he wins. All these signs in Connecticut, Trump, Trump, Trump. Connecticut? Come on. What's going on? I see the end. What do you see from where you are? How are we going to get out of this?
You're not.
You're not.
No, because it doesn't matter which side. You guys are playing, so do most people. I don't mean to say this about the United States only, because I think it's I mean, right now, just it has to do with,
That's
you know,
true.
you're powerful and you're xenophobic. There's a whole kind of bunch of crap going on, but it's going on all over the world. It's not, and it's a question of not wanting to. Again, it comes down to fear and greed on the one hand, and love and inclusion on the other.
Yeah.
Fear and hate on the one hand, love and acceptance on the other. There's no sense of healing. There's no sense of anything deep. Like right now, we're on a collision course with extinction as a species.
Yeah.
And we already have 863 species that died last year that we know of, and more and more and more every year. We know that the resources on this planet, 85% of the resources that are extracted from the planet are used by 15% of the people on the planet. We have income inequity. We have all manner of inequities that's built into the way people, the economic and political systems work, to think it's okay. You know, if you get a good job and you get $24 an hour or whatever the rate is supposed to be, that's a good job, that means you're getting ahead. Who cares if you're hurting somebody else? It doesn't matter. You're, you know, it's like the old-fashioned mine executive who said, well, my responsibility stop at the effluent, at the pipe. The pipe, by the way, was emitting pollutants into the water that was poisoning 15 native groups down the river because they got their water from the river. But he didn't care because that wasn't, and we all have that, it's built into the way you think, the way we think, the way the world thinks. It stops with me, it stops with me. We don't have a sense of unity, we don't have a sense of planetary, so I don't really have a
Or
prescription.
we don't have a sense of community. You said it. So
Yeah,
the body
so the
politic.
community, Frank, is more than just people. I have a communal obligation to the trees outside.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a communal obligation to the sea, to the whales, to the gophers.
Thank you.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. That is exactly.
And so what the need is a need for restorative understanding, healing, and justice. But how to get through the stupidity of what's going on politically not only with you, but with Putin and with Iran and with the Israelis and everything else that's going on in the world, Ukrainians, people in South Africa, the Sudanese, the list goes on and on and on, the economic inequities, everything else. It comes down to fundamentally changing attitudes. So if you want to do work, you do work on changing attitudes.
Excellent. So now you set us up for a wonderful slideshow that we're almost about to show. Thank you for that. And I think that's really kind of where we need to go, to look outside ourselves for help. And I can't thank you enough, JP, for bringing that help to us, especially in this show. This show, you have just laid out a framework of rethinking and reorganizing for community. Now, show us in Canada how you do it.
Well, I think that what I want to do is say a bit more about this slideshow, because the slideshow is about restorative justice and reconciliation in Canada, Native peoples and the white establishment or the governmental establishment, but also amongst communities.
Okay.
Rita Cho wrote a poem. I'm going to read it to you. It's 5 minutes, 5 seconds. You got 5 seconds?
We got 5 seconds, and then we're going to the show.
Okay. I lost my talk. The talk you took away when I was a little girl at the Shubenacadie school.
Yeah.
You snatched it away.
Yep.
I speak like you. I think like you. I create like you the scrambled ballad about my word. I talk in 2 ways. Both ways, I say, but your way is more powerful. So gently I offer my hand and I ask, let me find my talk so I can teach you about me.
Thank you. Here we go with the show.
Half the people, they were gladdened, and the other half were saddened by a victory now long ago forgot. Songs of victors and of birds, mixed with tears and bitter words, and the rain that fell to fill each shallow spot. And the rain touched my heart, and the rain touched my heart. The rain touched my heart. For all but me then time stood still, so I descended from the hill to mingle with the frozen silent throng. Though not a thing moved in the crowd, drops kept falling from the clouds, and by I came to hear their quiet song. And the rain touched my heart. The rain touched my heart. I heard it fall on silent cheeks, its chorus building to a peak, as the timeless moment ended like a dream. The loud refrain of human life resumed its tale of toil and strife, but could not drown out the music of the rain. And the rain touched my heart, and the rain touched my heart. The rain touched my heart. The rain touched my
Was it Tuesday? I think it was. She was crying as usual, but for the first time I broke right down to. No, it wasn't Tuesday. It was the next morning. At noontime I was still yawning. Got up to leave, but my feet would not move. No, sir. 'Cause when you got the feeling like I do, to pretend you don't still leaves you blue. Yet to face it brings you down anyway. You got to believe in your woman, though you still love the blues. Oh, that hurts. When you got a feeling like I do, to pretend you don't still leaves you blue. Yet to face it brings you down anyway. You got to believe in your woman, though you still love the blues. Was I running scared? Not me. At the top of the stairs, I was feeling free. Walking down the street, feeling no doubt. All right. Saw a tall brunette. She made me fret. She reminded me of my regret. Home to my room to hide, but my fears pushed me out. Oh, no. 'Cause when you got a feeling like I do, to pretend you don't still leaves you blue. Yet to face it brings you down anyway. You got to leave in your woman, though you still love a blue. You got to leave in your woman, though you still love a blue.
That's a wrap. Oh my God. Oh, and he's got two hats on. Oh my God. Victor and JP. Thank you. I sobbed through the last two songs. Deeply sobbed. Oh, JP, I've never been so moved. I think you've helped us down here in the Wild West. I hope so. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Yeah, that was some remarkable songwriting.
Oh,
Glad I've been exposed to it.
Yeah, JP, I would like to get the lyrics and the music for that first song. That was phenomenal.
This is a good example. This is a dear friend of mine. He's a Métis elder. I won't go into why, but I hope he's going to do a show later with Frank and Victor and me. But the first song is about what it feels like generationally of trauma and all that stuff. And the second is what that means when you're in a relationship, how codependent your relationship can be and how you can't escape from that, and how both healing has to happen at both levels.
we are in a codependent relationship. Oh no, with the body politic. Gentlemen, we have to wrap. I'm so sorry, my voice is gone. So let's dance. That's the thing we need to do.
If I'm gone tomorrow and you hear this song today, just remember there is love for you in every note I play. There's an echo in the canyon, a reflection on the sound